Getting your white balance wrong is the most important thing you can do as a cinematographer. I'm Marco Bagnoli, I'm a cinematographer from Germany, and today I will show you how you can achieve cinematic look with choosing the obvious wrong white balance. And after watching this video, you should be able to shoot something like this. So this is the first shot we're looking at, and the first thing you will notice is all these cinematic things that you like, that you're getting with filters are in there. We have this elation around the people, we have this nice soft glow, we have this high dynamic range. So how do you achieve something like this? First thing first is, when you're shooting indoors and want this contrasty, moody feeling, you need a lot of light control. So the window is our key light. This is the place where the sun, which is here probably just a big light, an M18 aperture 1200, 2400, something around that. And the thing you do to get this control is you flag the whole room. What does this mean? You have a big black molten, as it's called here, and just block the light from the other side of the room. So because the problem is when you're shooting indoors, light bounces all around the room. So this light will shoot, when there's a light outside, it will shoot on this wall and back into my face. To remove this, we built a big black construction over there, so we have a little bit more control about the contrast. That's how you get this separation from this side, which is really important if you want to create a cinematic look that looks not flat. Next thing is where you set your camera, at which brightness. You always expose for the window. So you put your camera down, put your ND on your camera and bring it back down as close. And when you see the outside or the exposure you want, this is where you stop. Then you know how bright your actors are, how bright the walls are, and then you put on the neck fill, and then you start lighting them, which they did not do here at all. What something you can do if you want to make a little bit more texture into her face is you put a light above them with a little bit of angle, something like an aperture light mat, and shoot on them so that they get a little bit more of hair light and a little bit of roll off on their face. But I don't think they done this here. So the thing I told you at the beginning, what is the wrong white balance? Most of the time you learn is choose your correct white balance and then start your grade. But what if I know beforehand that I want to shoot something really warm? This is the moment you do it in camera. When you don't have a camera that shoots raw, you have to choose this moment before you shoot, because you're not getting this nice colors, real white balance colors in your color grades. It's a lot more difficult and annoying to do than just first put your camera on a really warm white balance and just shoot it that way. And then you can, when it's too much, you can bring it a little bit back. But why would you do that? Because you know I want this look at the end. In the next shot, same situation. Now we have a soft source that is really creamy and around her face. When we're doing wide shots, try always to light a little bit harder, and then when you get closer with the camera, you soften these lights. Because on the wider shots, it's a lot more difficult to get this contrast. It's much more easy on the close-ups, and it looks a lot more flattering when you have want to make people look nice. So what they done here is, like I said before, choose your warm white balance and then put a large diffusion around here. You have to check how high is the room, how much space you have, and then it depends what you can choose. Mostly indoors you can use a 6x6, which is a little bigger than your 150 softbox, or you do a combination. Do your 150 softbox and shoot it through a 6x6 with a grid for light control, that you have this nice key. But what you always has to do also is to put negative fill on the other side so that you get this nice roll off around her skin. And the shot is done. There's nothing more to it. White balance, big soft source, negative fill on the other side. Next one. So this is the same commercial. Now we have the other extreme. Now all shots are really cold. They set this temperature on really cold here to get this uneasy feeling, so that the contrast to the warm scenes is more extreme. That's a technique that they use in a lot of commercials, so you get an undertone of the storyline, which scenes are the good ones and which one are the bad ones. So there's nothing really more to add to the scene to get this contrast. Here you can see you have this big light source on the side and on the top, so the light will over time gets darker here. But this is also a shot where you have to grade it to make it look that way. Was in the original a lot brighter. The windows above were also a lot brighter. So we put our power masks here and bring them down, and put a power mask on her and bring her up. This is how you most of the time, when you don't have the lights or the abilities to light control a scene like this, that's the way you do it. This is not cheating. When you know that you're going to do it in post, it's not an excuse, so it's a legit way to do it. Here in the close-up, they probably put again a butterfly in here with a small light source and shot it through it. It's not that big and not that soft, because as you can see, we really have a hard shadow here. So it could just be an f24x probably, or they just put an 300D with a normal light on it, because it looks like a very public space. They don't have much time to shoot it, so they done an easier way to shoot the scene through, which is enough. Here, just we have this big window as a light source, which gives all the fill on the side, and just for a little bit of punch, an extra light. But they also probably did negative fill on the side to get a nice contrast. So this shot is from the same commercial, and now we have a mix between these white balances. When you want to make her cold and also the lamps warm, first thing you do is choose your white balance. Choose to make this warm. So you don't do your white balance on 3200, so because that would make the warm tone of the image away. What I do most of the time, I have to make this mix feeling, I go for something like 4100, which is in the middle. It still keeps my highlights warm, but also give me the opportunity to put the skin tones not too warm, which doesn't matter in this scene because they clearly don't use a cold light for hair. They used color, which is something like a tree. On the sides, it's probably just a sky panel with a softbox, which they put on some teal blue color and just shot on here. And they put also on this side negative fill from the camera, and that's basically how you done it. They put a bit of kick on this area, because what you always want to do is to achieve gradients and stops of light. So as you can see, one layer bright, one layer dark. She gets bright again, then dark again, then we have this little bit of edge light, bright again, dark again, bright again, dark again. And that's always how you work as a cinematographer. You try to create this light layers so that you get the most dynamic and rich feel out of your movies. So if you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a subscription from you. My name is Marco Bagnoli, and I'll see you next time.